Bangladesh. We are hearing that the Bangladesh Prime Minister has resigned and left the country.
Bangladesh's economy has been on a roller coaster ride in recent years, to say the least. When Bangladesh was formed in 1971, it was the second poorest country in the entire world. It had also just experienced a deadly cyclone in 1970, a year before its formation, losing almost 500,000 people to it, and another estimated half to over 1 million people, to a deadly war that was fought for its independence. While it was written off by many, Bangladesh pulled off an incredible growth story from here, becoming one of the fastest growing economies in the world in the recent years, and even overtaking India in some economic indicators. But just when things seemed to be going in the right direction for the economy of Bangladesh, the recent pandemic, geopolitical factors such as the Russia-Ukraine war, and Bangladesh's over-reliance on the ready-made garments industry, among other factors, resulted in an economic crisis, leading to Bangladesh having to borrow billions of dollars from the International Monetary Fund. While the economy was already going through a challenging phase, protests erupted in Bangladesh in July of this year, reportedly against a quota system in civil service jobs that reserved nearly 30% of the jobs to the families of the freedom fighters who fought the 1971 Bangladesh Independence War. These protests quickly grew bigger and deadlier, eventually resulting in Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, not only resigning from her post, but also fleeing the country on a short notice on August 5th. Significant public property was damaged during these protests, in addition to other blows to the economy, such as a curfew, temporary shutdown of many garment manufacturing units, and an internet blackout, reportedly resulting in a loss of over $10 billion in a short period of time. While an interim government was recently formed with Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, as its head, there is a lot of uncertainty regarding many aspects of governance. The economy of Bangladesh is in great danger due to this, and the coming months could prove to be extremely critical in bringing back investor confidence, and in ensuring that Bangladesh will continue the growth path that it set out on. No one wants to see an incredibly potential economy such as that of Bangladesh to collapse, and although it's difficult to predict what the future might hold, Bangladesh's exceptional achievements from the past might help provide some answers. You see, the region that is called the current-day Bangladesh was one of the poorest regions of British India, but the same region was one of the richest regions of the Indian subcontinent and flourished economically in the pre-colonial era. Bengal as a whole had thriving textile and shipbuilding industries, and its economy in the 18th century is believed to have been bigger than the economies of any of Europe's empires at the time. However, severe exploitation during the colonial rule that lasted almost 200 years pushed the region into extreme economic distress. After the British left the Indian subcontinent, current-day Bangladesh initially became part of the then Pakistan and was called as East Pakistan. It struggled economically for over 2 decades and gained independence in 1971 after a brutal war that destroyed its economy and became the country we all know today as Bangladesh. The initial years of independence were quite challenging economically for Bangladesh. It was the second poorest country in the whole world, and while the war for independence took a toll on the economy, a string of natural disasters, a famine, and political instability did not provide Bangladesh's economy a chance to thrive. Despite these challenges, Bangladesh not only became one of the fastest growing economies in the world in recent years, achieving GDP growth rates as high as over 7% in some of the years, but also lifted an estimated 33 million people out of poverty since the year 2000. Bangladesh's GDP per capita also overtook that of India in 2020. However, much of this growth was attributed to the ready-made garments industry in Bangladesh, which is the second largest exporter of garments in the world. Over 80% of Bangladesh's exports in recent years comprised of garments, a vast majority of which are shipped to Europe. Another factor that contributes significantly to Bangladesh's economy and forex reserves is the remittances received from Bangladeshi diaspora living abroad, which reportedly amounted to as much as $22 billion in 2021, making Bangladesh the 7th highest recipient of remittances in the world. With the recent pandemic and geopolitical tensions such as the Russia-Ukraine war, leading to supply chain disruptions and reduced demand, the apparel industry of Bangladesh was badly hit. Reportedly, over 1 million people lost jobs in the apparel industry just during the first few months of the pandemic. High inflation, which has impacted many economies around the world since the pandemic, has not spared Bangladesh, with prices of essential commodities such as fuel rising sharply. The people of Bangladesh have been struggling. In addition to these, remittances received from the Bangladeshi diaspora living abroad have also declined in recent years, contributing to dwindling forex reserves, which reportedly fell below $20 billion earlier this year. While Bangladesh is not alone when it comes to some of these challenges, such as high inflation and increasing unemployment, recent political and social unrest, the likes of which were never seen before, pose a unique challenge to the recovery of Bangladesh's economy. However, if history were to be a guide, Bangladesh might very well be able to surprise the world yet again by pulling off a miracle and turning its economy around, despite all the glaring challenges.